How's it going? In this video, we're going to be seeing how our warband and our squad, I don't know exact numbers, I think we had 10 or 12 here, complete Prime Rabizex at level 60. Turns out that the different zones actually have different level variants of these Prime bosses. So this is Prime Rabizex done at White Cliff, which makes him effectively a level 60 variation. Really doing it much harder than we needed to. There's actually lower level Rabizexes and lower frontiers that we could have done instead, but I guess we wanted to do it on hardcore mode. So after a lot of testing, a lot of trials, a lot of failures, losing countless biomass turret and using hundreds and hundreds of biomass missiles to really just learn how to do it, we got it down. And in this video, you're kind of going to see a little bit about the build design and see us get our final kill. I think it took 8 or 10 kills to complete the decoding for him. So you'll see that last kill here. So the way that we finally figured out that would work is we built a little tiny structure all the way in the back for the territory terminal to stay in, slightly protected, a little bit of honeycomb, and then we ran these lines of foundations all the way out to the spawn puddle. All the prime bosses spawn in those puddles that look like a misplaced water texture, but they're actually the spawn point for primes. So we ran these foundations all the way out to it, because essentially what will happen is the prime bosses want to kill all the foundations in their way until they get to your terminal. And then what we've done is put these turret towers off to the side. The spacing is key. If they're too close to the line of foundations, then the prime boss will aggro to the turret towers and destroy them. But if they're just spaced out enough, he will continue to go down the line through the foundations without aggroing to these. Now, Rabizex in particular has some big AoE attacks, including a laser that shreds anything in its way. So we have a bunch of fortifying walls, foundations, roof tiles, all kinds of things in the way of the actual structural support of these turrets. You can see we kind of multi-leveled them. That way we can shoot over each other's heads in case he gets really close to us. And this angle and this distance works out really well for these things. We run 6 turrets at a time. We've also done it with 5. I really wouldn't recommend too much less because his shield, especially on the level 60 variation, is really hard to break. Now, he's not consistent with his mechanics. Sometimes he'll reactivate his shield, every single time after his DPS phase, and sometimes he'll let you get a ton of damage on him. Sometimes he'll do a charge attack through 8-9 foundations worth, and sometimes he'll only hit a couple. So you're gonna get a different experience on a lot of these fights, but here he goes, he spawns in, and so we're just gonna pound him. It's hard to tell with the aim on this thing, but if you're getting the damage numbers, you're hitting him. You kind of just gotta try to calibrate it in and see where you're hitting. As you can see, I missed quite a few here. That's kind of just par for the course until he gets a bit closer. But with these things pounding him, you can see we're going to bring his shield down, and then we'll be able to go into some DPS. Right now, all he's doing is exactly what we want him to do, which is to take out all these foundations. You can see there, he blows out a huge line of foundations, but we have now broken his shield, so he's down on the ground. His weak spot's just like in the actual boss fight. It's his mouth. You're gonna not do a lot of damage. You're seeing some pretty low values because that's just what it is, but you want to get as much as you can on him here. We pretty much ignore the ads. I might have like a guy, I think one of our guys kind of keeps an eye on them to make sure they don't go to the back, but you really want to focus all your DPS on the boss because you see in this case, he reactivates his shield pretty quickly. We've had other runs where he only reactivated it once. We've had runs where he's reactivated it 5 times, so I'm sorry if you get one where he does it all the time. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but that's just how it goes, I guess, with this guy. When he jumps up in that circle thing, if he wasn't shielded, you'd be able to shoot him down and do a bunch of DPS just like you do in his normal fight, but because he did it while he had the shield on, he's just going to spit a bunch of AoE damage out, and there's nothing you can really do about it. There he goes again with his charge attack. We're getting pretty lucky. He hasn't really went too far down the line. Sometimes he'll really get further down. That's why we actually have a second set of towers, you might have noticed, turret towers in the back. So if he gets too far, or if he destroys these, we can all fall back and reman the turrets. We find that 2 rows of turret towers seem to do the trick. So this one, he's actually behaving, I think, as intended, where as soon as he roars, he kind of shrinks small again, and then his shield goes up, and then he goes big again. I think this is the way it's supposed to go, but you're going to see, when you guys do complete this, if you do complete this, you're going to see sometimes that he may not reactivate the shield. We've had some kills, or like 1 or 2, where he just really was very easy, a total rollover. But we've also had it where we had it set up beautifully like this, and he actually wiped the entire thing. He wiped all the base, all the turret towers. I've probably rebuilt this structure, which is about 400 or 500 blocks total, probably 8 to 10 times. I mean, we must have spent, you know, 20,000 plus brick, 20,000 plus steel. The biomass missiles eat steel like crazy. Tons of stardust. It's pretty brutal, but totally worth it. All worth testing in the beta. Now, what really sucks, and we've actually submitted this feedback, is that this variant, the level 60 Rabizex, gives you a lesser reward and less warband points than a level 40, or I think it's 40 or 50 Ravenous Hunter. Like when we go to Merlin Island and do Ravenous, it's a walk in the park. We kill it extremely fast, no structure loss or anything, and we get a better reward than this higher level, harder boss. So hopefully they'll look at our suggestion and balance this appropriately, because the amount of work and effort that goes into this thing, it's not even close to worth it. I would highly recommend doing a lower tier Rabizex unless they make this one give a better reward in general, which I think it was just probably an oversight is my guess. But here he goes, busting his last shield down, and we'll be able to go to the final. Now, once he gets to this last bar, he's gonna go into immune phase. Again, it doesn't happen all the time, like many things, it's not always consistent. But you're gonna see here, there's the immunity. This thing lasts for, I'm not sure if there's a predetermined set time. I've seen it, what seems to last for 3-4 minutes. We've also seen it go off immune in like 30 seconds, but typically it feels like it's about 2 minutes of immunity. And he kind of just gets to wreck stuff for a little while. You can see some of my guys falling back to the back tower because they're worried about him doing a ton of damage here and getting too far away or breaking down the towers, so they're gonna go man those further back guns. It all just depends on what attacks he chooses to do. So right here, his immunity drops. So this was a pretty short immune phase. This is one of the shorter ones. Like I said, sometimes it's a couple of minutes. I have no idea if there's anything that actually makes a difference, but this one was easier. But there it is. Like that's a pretty good example of what the fight looks like. You can see the setup that we use. We throw a bunch of random wood foundations in between and stuff. Just more structures for him to have to go through. Now you see here, Ravenous Hunter we're done with. We're now done with the Dakini decoding for Rabizex as well. He was a pain in the ass. It took us a ridiculous amount of time, but we got it done. Good luck to you guys doing the same. Hopefully this video will help you get an idea of how to go about it. It's still going to be trials and failures, I'm sure. Just get as many guys as you can together and build a really tanky long structure out with a couple of turret towers, really beefed up, super secure turret towers. You can see there's quite a few layers, and you should be okay. Good luck. Thanks for watching.